Is there anything you can do to try to ride out this financial storm? I'm joined now by financial analyst Louise Cooper to discuss what this means for you. Good evening to you, Louise. And this is what you do, Louise. You forecast, you look ahead to how bad or how good things could get. Did you see this coming in terms of the rise in inflation, cost of living crisis?
So it's the two things. It's the supply side shock as a result of COVID. And that's getting worse, you know, as China closes massive cities with huge factories, all the things that we want to buy, we can't buy. So that's a sort of supply side shock. And then, of course, we've got Russia invading Ukraine, which has driven up the price of not just oil and gas, but all kinds of metals, as well as foodstuffs. So, you know, you've seen the inflation build over the last 3, 4, 5 months. I think what has been quite shocking, and I haven't seen it in my entire career, and I am quite old now, is quite how quickly inflation expectations have ballooned. So we're looking at inflation in October reaching double digits, 10%. And if you go back only to the end of last year, the forecast for inflation this year was 3 and a bit percent. So it's happened just so quickly.
So, Louise, you're talking about the rise in inflation, rise in interest rates. You've got the energy prices, fuel going up, could be going up even more so. What can people do about this? How do you navigate this cost of living crisis?
So let's just talk through a few things. Most people on a mortgage, the fact that interest rates have now gone up 4 times in just a few more months. And by the way, interest rates are expected to go from 1%. And market forecasters are going to say they're going to get to 2.5% by, sometime in 2023. So the rate rises are not over. So already those with the 2 million, just over 2 million households who have not got a fixed rate mortgage, who are, a variable rate mortgage, they will be seeing their monthly outgoings for their mortgage go up, and they will be going up for some time. So for those on those standard variable or tracker mortgages, you might want to consider fixing your interest rate. Okay. Sadly, the best deals that were available last year have gone, but you would still save money. Generally speaking, again, it depends on your individual circumstances, but that might be one way you can ameliorate some of the costs.
Okay, Louise, stay with us. We put a question out there asking people how they're impacted, if they had any questions or advice from you. What have people been saying on the phone?
Okay, well, lots of people getting in touch. Chelsea from Birmingham. I'm having to give up my business as I can't afford to run it anymore. There's inflation, energy prices, rent increases, VAT back at 20%. I'm losing everything. Johnny in Northumberland says, I chose to eat tonight, but haven't had the heating on for a week now, so tapping into that heat or eat concept. Charles Awaska from Derbyshire says, this is the most unprecedented time. I'm struggling now with loan repayment, credit card payments, and I don't even know what to expect after our fixed term on our mortgage ends. So I don't know if that's one that perhaps Louise can pick up on afterwards. And Joe Brown from Hainsham says, I'm extremely worried about the cost of living. I'm disabled, unable to work. I often already go without food because I need to have the heating on. My price cap comes to an end in a month's time. How am I going to afford the bills? And Stuart in Oxford says, everyone's complaining though, but we're nowhere near the state of affairs in the 80s. We paid 18% on our mortgage, and of course, lots of worried people there.
Yeah, Louise, as Danny said, you've got people really, really concerned about the cost of living crisis and actually already changing their lives, changing their lifestyles to get around it.
Well, sadly, as we come into the warm weather, in terms of heating, then hopefully that will, get better. The problem is, and this is the reason why inflation is forecast to hit 10% in October, is we've got another energy price cap increase expected September, October time, which is going to be another massive increase to energy costs. So I'm afraid the news on energy is not good at all. If you have debt and you are looking at credit card debt that's proving problematic. There are still some balance transfer deals out there. You can get 0% balance transfers, but of course that requires a good credit rating to do that. If you cannot do that, then I would seriously start talking to Citizens Advice Bureau. If you are in that level of indebtedness, you know, the earlier you deal with your financial problems, the better. Don't put your head in the sand.
OK, Louise Cooper, some really good advice. Anybody who needs help, do reach out to charities, including Citizens Advice, to hopefully help you navigate through all of this. But Louise Cooper, as always, good talking to you. Thank you.